Coming up on Patriots Today by Chat Sports, PFF has recently released their 3-round mock draft for the New England Patriots. And let me tell you, I think it's really good. I think that they almost nailed it on the head. But I have a real question here with New England. And if you're going to have over $100 million in cap space, how much do you want to spend in free agency? And how impactful will this NFL 2025 draft class be? So we're going to break that down here on today's show. But I have a question for you guys before we jump into this. Let's play a little game, right? If you want them to have a big draft this year, go on ahead and comment draft down below. If you would rather have a big free agency, grab some names that are going to be huge for New England, then go on ahead and like this video. Because coming up here on that show is exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you PFF's mock draft and who they're going to pick with which selection. And then on the other half, I'm going to show you 5 of the top free agents heading into the 2025 NFL season, and I'll let you make the case. So that is what we're going to do here on today's show, because I have to let you guys know New England didn't make really any moves in free agency, and it wasn't for lack of trying. We tried to get Brandon Ayuk, we tried to get Deebo Samuel, and we tried to get Calvin Ridley. So we're aiming towards that wide receiver position last year for free agency. But now you're projected to have a league high $132.5 million of cap space this offseason, which means that free agency market could be big time for a rebuilding New England Patriots football team. Let's go ahead and hop into PFF's mock draft with pick number 1, which as of right now, we are projected to have the 4th pick in the NFL draft. They're going to take Tetairoa McMillan from Arizona. And here is what PFF had to say on why they decided to take Tetairoa with the 1st pick in the NFL draft. And it might be surprising since it's not an offensive lineman, but with over $115 million in projected effective cap space, the Patriots had the financial flexibility to address the offensive line with quality veterans in free agency. So that's why they took a wide receiver with pick number 1. But why Tetairoa? That can allow them to prioritize a high-ceiling pass catcher like Tetairoa McMillan at the top of the draft. The 6'6", let me reiterate that, 6'6", 210-pound receiver showcases shades of Mike Evans and Drake London with smooth movements for his size and exceptionally strong hands. So I love the number 1 factor here that he can provide, which is 6'6". When you're looking at a wide receiver for Drake May, what we have learned in his rookie year is that accuracy is a problem. And while I love Pop Douglas, I mean, he just looks like a ball of fun. He's honestly a little bit too short for my liking. That's why Hunter Henry has grown to be the top receiver for Drake May, is because Hunter Henry is a 6'5" tight end. So obviously he needs one of those high, large, tall type of targets like a Tetairoa McMillan. Not to mention, he doesn't have the speed off the jump like a Tyreek Hill, because that's very foreign to come by in the NFL. But for Tetairoa, he creates great separation. He knows how to climb the ladder, creates a knack for finding the ball, and I think that would be paired up really well with a quarterback in Drake May who has a cannon of an arm, but a little bit of a turnover problem and a little bit of inaccuracy. So we're going to break down a little bit more here, including those top 5 free agents. But I have a question for you guys. If you had the 1st pick in the NFL draft, be Elliott Wolf for a moment. Would you pick a wide receiver? Would you pick a defensive lineman, or would you pick an offensive lineman? Go on ahead and type WR, DL, and OL. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. Feel free to talk about it in the comment section down below, and we'll be right back. I personally think Tetairoa McMillan is my top choice for a wide receiver in this upcoming draft. I know there is a lot of talent out there, including somebody like Travis Hunter, but we're not even sure, A, if Hunter is going to be a wide receiver. He may be a DB. And 2, I like 6'6" a lot better than Travis Hunter. I'll be honest. But here is where the game comes into play. Do we want to get somebody like Tetairoa McMillan with the 1st pick in the NFL draft, or would you want to grab a well-known, sophisticated veteran in the NFL already as a free agent? Because this is going to be a very good 2025 NFL free agency class in the wide receiver group especially. Number 1, Tee Higgins. This is going to be a very hot commodity, but what do NFL teams not have? They don't have cap space. And if you're thinking, why the hell would Tee Higgins come to the Patriots? Look at what Stephon Diggs just did in Buffalo. He left his BFF, Josh Allen, to go with a second-year quarterback in C.J. Stroud because he saw what C.J. Stroud could do. Maybe that's what Tee Higgins could think of Drake May. If not, you have Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, who's been a great wide receiver target for Baker Mayfield, Stephon Diggs with the Texans, and DeAndre Hopkins with the Chiefs. I don't really want D-Hop, though. So overall, obviously, I'm going to go for Tee Higgins. I think that we try to get Ridley, Ayuk, we try to get Samuel. Now is the time, if you want to go get a top free agent, it's going to be Tee Higgins. It needs to be Tee Higgins because he wants one thing. He wants to get paid, and you've got money to spare. But I am going to go the draft for the receiver. I do think that there are a lot of wide receiver free agents out there that they could possibly try and get, but what we learned from Ayuk, what we learned from Calvin Ridley, is they were swing and misses. So I'm going to go with a safety pick. I'm going to pick a wide receiver in the draft. That's my take. We're going to break down a couple bit more here in the back half of the show. But before I hop into PFF's 2 more mock draft picks, I want to tell you guys about GameTime. This is the app to go to if you guys are looking for tickets to any event that requires a ticket to get into, whether it's a concert, comedy show, theater, or maybe even a New England Patriots game. I love the new filter. I love the new feature, GameTime Picks, that filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. And the number one reason why I personally use GameTime to get tickets for any anniversary, any birthday gift, or maybe if I just want to treat myself, I notice one of my favorite artists is coming into town, I love the fact that you can see your seat from the app before you have to buy your tickets. That way you're not sitting behind a pole. That way you're not near the bathroom. And it's super easy because as you can see in this layout, they show you several different prices all over the stadium. And they're going to let you know which one are the best deals that suit you and what you're trying to achieve. So if you guys want to go on ahead and check out the Chargers coming to the Patriots Stadium, one of the last home games of the season, then go on ahead and download the GameTime app. When you download it, just create an account and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it? Well, it's game time, baby. Let's talk about the second overall pick PFF has in their mock draft. They're going to go with a guard in Tyler Booker from Alabama. Obviously, once you move past that first round, that's typically when all of your best offensive linemen do go. So now you're going to get a guy, which is still coming from a huge franchise that has set up guys for success in the NFL for years and years and years to come. Tyler Booker with Alabama. This is going to be a little bit of a project, I think, for New England if they end up getting a guard in the draft in the second round, just because, like I said, a lot of the good ones go in the first round, but he has an overall PFF grade of 67.7, which honestly right now pretty much beats the entire offensive line for the New England Patriots. So what does Booker have to offer in terms of being an interior offensive lineman? Well, we do have Andrew Ivins with 24/7 Sports. He kind of broke down his draft profile here on Booker, saying he likes to play well through the whistle, and I love that. I automatically always think of The Blind Side when he just takes them to the bus. Has come a long way over the past couple of years or so, is more than capable of winning at the point of attack with a well-timed punch, latches onto his target. I love that because I think the interior for the Patriots so far this season has really done a crappy job of holding on to their man and holding on to their block. He is able to quickly find some leverage before steering, would-be tacklers out of the way, agile enough to get outside the tackle box and open up the run lane. We suck as a whole as run blocking, so that's phenomenal to hear. And once again, just picking him up in the second round, if we do end up getting somebody in the second round, it's not hit or miss. He's not going to be terrible just because he went in one round later. An offensive line is an absolute necessity for the New England Patriots. This is no surprise here. Honestly, I would rather take somebody in the first round rather than a wide receiver in the first round. But then we go back to the Patriots have $130 million in cap space, so they want to go and get a player that is already established. Because when you look at a guy in the second round, like an offensive guard coming out of Bama, let's all face it, Bama's not the powerhouse this year. They have been in the past. He's going to take time to develop. We're seeing that with Layden Robinson right now as your left guard. So you can go out and pay a buttload of money for a guy like Trey Smith, who would be my top target. Zach Martin with the Cowboys, James Daniels with the Steelers, Drew with the Falcons, Mekhi Becton with the Eagles. These are all top 5 picks that I would genuinely rather have right now than anybody on our interior offensive line. I'll be honest. So I do think when it comes to the O-line, you might be better off sticking with free agency. I'm a little bit nervous that if the Patriots do end up taking a offensive lineman after anything behind the first round, it's going to be exactly what it already is, a project. I do not want to put Drake May behind another offensive lineman that needs time to develop. I want a guy that knows how to block. I want a guy that wants to keep pressure off Drake May, and I want somebody to open up the lanes for the run game. So I'm going to go free agency with this one. But you guys be the decider. Should New England draft or pick up a guard? We haven't even gotten to tackle just yet, but just the guard. Type D for draft. Type, I guess, G for guard is what I decided to do. You could do P for pickup, but this is why I have this. So go on ahead and just let me know, draft or pickup in the comment section down below. The last third-round pick PFF has in their mock draft. I'm going to try not to butcher this. I am so sorry. JT Tuimoloau, I think is how you pronounce it. I did listen to it earlier. But nonetheless, the Ohio State edge, this guy is a headhunter. JT is the perfect size for who you want, pairing up with the Keon Whites, with the Daniel Iguales, with the Anthony Jennings. He gives me that Jelani Tavai type of vibe with his size and his build. 6'5", 269 pounds, very nice. And so far throughout this year, he has 19 tackles, 6 sacks, which automatically makes him the team leader on New England right now, as Dietrich Wise and Keon White are tied at 5.5 sacks apiece, and he's got 1 forced fumble. So what does JT have to offer New England Patriots if he does end up going into the third round? Because we do need to address the edge position, as there has been a lack of sacks and a lack of quarterback pressures for the last couple of games. Well, Bleacher Report had to say on JT and what he brings is that he projects well as a traditional hand-in-the-ground defensive end in even fronts. He has great size and can be a good run defender with his strength and physicality at the point of attack. Setting the edge is fairly easy for him, and he can get off blocks to make plays against the rushing attack, which I love. The biggest issue with Tuimoloau is he hasn't shown a lot of athletic traits that can help him be a productive pass rusher at the next level. We do struggle already with pass rushing. He is solid with a bull rush and a spin move, but he lacks twitch and bend to wind around the edge consistently. So as of right now, it looks like he is a good edge rusher at college level. But when you go to the third round, you were to pick up a guy like this, and knowing that the edge is now a top 5 priority for New England because we have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, surprisingly, thank you, DeMarcus Covington, I don't know if you can rely on a third-round pick to bolster your edge the way that you need to. So when you look at the top 5 free agents coming in at edge, this is also a very strong class that New England can take advantage of. Hassan Reddick with the New York Jets, you know they are going to completely clean house this year. They have to, because they're horrible. Josh Sweat with the Eagles, same thing with Philly. If they don't win this year, I could see some big changes coming as well. Khalil Mack with the Chargers, we'll see him in action in 2 weeks. Chase Young with the Saints, started with Washington, now trying to find a home with New Orleans, but I'm not sure New Orleans is going to re-sign somebody like Chase Young as well. And then Azeez Ojulari with the New York Giants, same situation as the Jets. They're probably just going to completely rebuild. But I do think that when you get a new guy to fit in with Keon White, who is a second-year player, you can tag along with Christian Barmore, who is now back from his blood clots, maybe even a Daniel Iguale. If you do end up using one of your top picks, I do hope it will be on an edge rusher. If you could maybe even move up to that second round and get an edge rusher, I think he could be clean-cut great from the start in a struggling 3-4 front right now for New England. So I'm going to go with I hope the Patriots end up drafting an edge rusher than paying $75 million for a guy like Hassan Reddick. That's just me. If you guys want to comment down below and let me know what you guys think, I'm all for it. My last question for you guys here is, which position does New England need the most? Go on ahead and comment that down below. Mine is obviously going to be offensive tackle. If you guys want Drake May to have a top receiver, go on ahead and comment that. You want an edge rusher next to Keon White, go on ahead and comment that down below. And as always, if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And if you haven't already, go on ahead, hit that thumbs up button for me, because as always, go Patriots.